Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Finch's Flight. In the last episode, Finch got his paws dirty in his brand new garden upgrade, which he's using to prepare for Griffin's inevitable arrival. We figured he would probably spend the rest of his springtime season just gathering frogs for him too, but it turns out today, all of his plans have changed. Unfortunately, Finch woke up to the sounds of war cries right outside his den because Leo has sent his troops straight into the Highlands. So now he has no choice but to attack, and I guess that's because we've been a little bit too relaxed on our borders. It gave Leo an opening, and of course, so close to the brand new festival, this is when he would choose to attack. He always does tend to use these peaceful moments to really catch our colony off guard. So we don't even have time to bring all of our frogs over to Griffin today. All we could really do is maybe grab a couple of these licorice roots. We'll have Finch use these to tie himself over. One is going to have to be enough, buddy. And then we need to go grab some herbs from Galen's Grove. I'm sure he probably has a couple to spare. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he's ushering them straight into his paws, just pressing them to Finch as he comes out of his den, because he can probably hear those war cries too. And as for you, Claudius, do you have any information to share with us? Maybe he's been out that way already? He might already know what sort of scene we're walking into. There's always a careful balance between accessibility and security. Now, it seems like this might be a pretty good lesson for Finch right now, because that balance unfortunately withered over the previous season. But Finch is back with a vengeance, Claudius, and he is going to go reclaim the land that was once ours. I hope that Slate is going to join us too. We'll probably need you to back us up if things get too rough. But let's go ahead and see what sort of warriors Leo has sent. How many cats we're going to have to battle. Oh my goodness, look at all these cats. Go ahead and let out your mighty lion's roar, Finch. I think that's all that's going to save us now. Are we down to just one more guard left on our side? Oh no, and I think they've taken him out. Okay, Finch, you might have to call for some backup then. We'll wait a moment just in case some of our cats might be listening. I don't think they are. Oh my goodness, Leo. He is surrounding us with his guards. It's a good thing that we came so early, too. There's so many cats here right outside our door. They probably could have snuck into Finch's den while he was sleeping if we weren't careful. All right, 2 more to go. Blackie and Lily. Just a few more hits ought to do it. There we go. And I think I actually see Spike. Oh, have you come to help us? Oh, just in time. The reinforcements have finally arrived. Look at all these cats coming to our rescue. Oh, and Gale even looks just like us. Interesting. Were you trying to maybe distract the mountain colony by pretending to be Finch? Isn't this just a perfect day? You know, you're even acting like Finch too. He can be a pretty big goof sometimes. I guess you're a good decoy. Actually, that kind of gives me an idea. Maybe it's time that Finch finally showed Leo a little bit of his own medicine. Maybe we should use this coming day, this coming festival, to sneak into his territory instead. He would probably never suspect it. I mean, Finch loves the festival so much, it's not really like him to miss one. So he would probably be a little bit suspicious if Finch didn't show up. But if we could perhaps convince one of our own cats to dress up as Finch for the day, maybe they could pretend to be Finch, so Leo won't get too suspicious. Let's just go ahead and grab a couple more of these bunnies because I do see that Finch is pretty hungry. We'll have him snack on one of these and then maybe spread some lavender around the borders. We do desperately need to take over these tiles again. Yeah, the Highland Northwest, just one little piece of lavender ought to do. And then if we head down to the south, this should secure a nice safe buffer around our land. That way we'll have a couple of tiles in between us and the mountain, so they shouldn't be able to sneak that close to our campgrounds ever again. We even have a pretty safe passage straight to the sacred temple too, so I guess Finch would feel pretty confident sending his cats there alone, even with all the hostilities. Now the question is, which one of our cats would be the best one to ask to dress up as Finch? Maybe Starling? I mean, he's pretty used to dyeing his coat anyway, and he is our brother, so if anybody is going to be able to impersonate Finch, I feel like it would probably be him. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We'll warp back home. We'll pick up all of those frogs inside our den, of course, to share with Griffin too. Oh, he is probably just so worried. If he heard all of those war cries, and then if he saw that Finch wasn't around to enjoy their breakfast together, oh, he must be wondering if Finch maybe fell in battle or something. Yeah, let's go over to him first. After we go ahead and consult with Coco, perhaps. Let's see if we can buy one of those color trinkets, the recolor token. Yeah, we'll grab one of these, and then we'll take a quick stop at Starling's after we share our breakfast with Griffin. I guess it's kind of like a late lunch now. A little bit off balance, Griffin. I hope you're not too upset. We tried our best to take care of that battle as fast as we possibly could, and we're not too hurt. I have a feeling that's probably going to be the very first question that he asks. He tries to act like he's not too worried, of course. He knows that Finch can take care of himself, but I feel like deep down, he is a huge worrywart. The yellow heart with Griffin now? Excellent. I think the only color we have left is red, and then we should be able to consider buying one of those shiny trinkets from Starling too. Rain's good for concealing your location, footprints wash away, and the sound of water falling can keep others from hearing you. A little extra tip from you, Griffin, perhaps? He must have heard of our plans, actually. I can see Finch confiding in Griffin about his plans for tomorrow, so he's probably just giving him a few sneaking tips. Griffin, after all, seems to be an expert in sneaking and an expert in disguising your true identity. For that matter, I'll bet Griffin would see straight through Starling's disguise. So to avoid any potential awkwardness, it's probably a good idea to let Griffin in on the whole thing. Now I think the right skin is this brown tiger. That one looks just like Scout's, and of course that's the very same one that Finch is wearing. Oh my gosh, you two look like twins. How adorable is that? The only difference, of course, is the eye color and the fact that Starling isn't wearing that big red scarf, passed down from Penny herself. But I'm willing to bet that it'll pass in Leo's eyes. Something tells me these two aren't quite close enough for him to know those very intimate details like his eye color of all things. So for all Leo knows, Starling is the true Finch, and he'll have no reason to suspect that our leader is sneaking through his territory. Now I hope that you joined in on the battle too. I'm really glad to call you my friend, Finch. You're such a sweetheart, you know. Well, thank you very much, Slave. I'll bet that she was right behind us every step of the way. It's tricky to tell if she's in on the battle or not sometimes, because she also changes her fur color quite a bit. But here's one of those delicious rare black hairs of the forest. And Claudius, I think you deserve a bunny too. We'll go ahead and give you one of the fresh bunnies that we caught today. Here you go, big guy. You definitely deserve it for letting us know about the battle on the borders. I'm sure that he was also very involved in that, but he always keeps an eye on the mountain colony. Now as for you, Galen, thankfully we don't have very many wounds for you to heal, but we will probably need to take a few extra herbs on our trip tomorrow, so I hope you won't mind. You have shown me great kindness, Finch. After years of considering the nature of kindness, I am finding that I still have much to learn, and you are an excellent teacher. Well, thank you, Galen. I think that's probably a pretty good sign that he doesn't mind us scooping up some more herbs for the journey. We're just going to take a few of those marigolds and golden seals. And do we need some extra valerian? We have 2 on hand right now. I think this should probably be fine. We should probably save the extra room for the lavender instead, and we're going to scoop up every last one. Oh, Mango, I hope you don't mind that we're just like raiding your entire flower bed right now. Did you ever see a winter blueberry that looked as good as this one? I found it just for you. Please accept it as a gift. Ooh, these are out of season too, Mango. How on earth did you ever scrape up one of those? She must keep so many of those berries stashed away inside that den, but honestly, can you blame her? She loves them just as much as Finch does. So I think our plan is looking pretty good so far. I think it's going to be a wild success. Starling is going to take our place at the festival tomorrow, and we're going to see what we can discover inside Leo's territory. Maybe before we go to bed, we should just circle around the lower portions of the Highlands, just in case more herbs have grown. There's always the chance that there's some more lavender for us to take. And the more we have, the better when it comes to taking back our land. Our pockets are kind of full of catnip right now too, but I'm not sure if we're going to have enough time to go all the way down to the Mystic Colony to offer up any of that. Yeah, I think we're just going to focus on the lavender for now, and the mountains are always the best place for us to gather lavender for our colony. The fish are out and about today too. It looks like that might be a little salmon in the water. Maybe we should think about scooping this up for one of our cats? There we go, a nice juicy salmon. Or for that matter, maybe Finch could even take it for the journey. I mean, it's not as though he's ever been too fond of fish, but if you need energy, then it's probably a little bit better than your frog scraps. Alright Finch, let's warp back home before it gets too late. We'll have you settle in for bed so you can heal some of those wounds, and then you should be ready to sneak on into the mountain colony. I wonder if we should consider changing his colors again then? Maybe not to the previous disguise that we used. Would that be too suspicious? I don't know, they might be more likely to let us pass if they see that old familiar face. Maybe that would be a good idea then. Alright, let's do it. Let's go ahead and change his colors to... Was it Black Tabby? Was that the one that we used? Yeah, because the Black Bengal was the new skin that we unlocked the day before, so the Black Tabby it is. This is actually the one that looks really similar to Leo as well. So as long as we take off our red scarf, then I don't think there's going to be any reason for any of their cats to suspect us now. And look at this, our golden seal has even grown inside our garden. Finch's very first hand-grown, or paw-grown perhaps, golden seal. That has to be a good omen. If nothing else, more herbs is a good sign. It's always so strange to stumble out on festival days when all of the cats are packed away. I guess they've all already shipped off to the sacred temple, so our plan is in motion. Well, let's not waste a second more, Finch. Let's head off into the mountain territory. We might want to stop and maybe munch on one of those morsels. Let's go ahead with the salmon. A nice hearty breakfast to get your energy flowing, and to keep you on your toes too, because goodness knows you are going to need it. I think I saw that we do actually have a battle over here somewhere. Very, very close at the Blossom Lake, of course. They always seem to be trying to keep that under their control, so maybe it's a good one for us to start with. Actually, I think the Blossom Lake has quite a few herbs in it, doesn't it? Maybe that's why? They could be using that as their herb garden since it's so close to their camp. It is a bit more concerning to see that somebody has unfortunately cut off access from our colony to the sacred temple. I wonder if Leo has actually gotten a whiff of our plan after all. I would imagine this is probably the Mystic Colony, but why on earth would they be trying to stop us from getting to the festival? Surely Alyssa knows that we don't take kindly to that sort of interference. We've told her about all the trouble we've had with Leo before, after all. Well, I guess that's a battle for a different day, because first we are going to try to take over this Blossom Lake. Luckily, quite a few of our cats are coming to help us out too. They must have stayed behind to support Finch in his plans. Oh my goodness though. There are quite a few mountain guards still hanging around their territory. I guess not quite as many of them left as we had hoped. But there's more reinforcements coming in from the north. Goodness peas. Such a fitting name for a fierce warrior. He's such a haunting cat too. He blends in with the lake and those silver eyes. It almost looks like they're blind. I know some cats hate the water, but I love to swim. The water feels nice. Oh my gosh, that could not be any more fitting peas. And do I actually see a frog? Oh, this is the perfect place for us to take over. If we can get more frogs here for Griffin. And it's so scenic too. I love these beautiful trees. We have Valerian to tie us over, to help us hop after the frogs, in fact. And I believe there is also plenty of lavender for us to scoop up over here too. Yeah, I would say this is probably a pretty good place for you to spread the lavender around. We'll use what we have in our pockets, and then replace it with the mountain colony's resources. So if this is their little flower bed, who do you think is tending to it? I suppose it could always be Luna, because she is their healer, so she would probably make use of most of these herbs. But it could also be somebody like Robin. She seems like the sort of cat who would definitely like to spend time gardening. She is very, very sweet, and she's also quite open to friendship. I always figured that she would be the cat most likely to switch sides. In all honesty, she doesn't really seem too fond of Leo's leadership. She doesn't like the choices he's made, and she seems to be trying her best to make him understand that, but clearly Leo was not listening. I hope all of our cats are okay. Starling especially. I really hope that nobody has figured him out. But let's use our lavender here too. And now we have most of this little river under our control as well. We're just missing a tiny bit over by the swamps. Maybe we could follow the river to chip away at their territory even more. Unfortunately, I don't think we have very much lavender left in our pockets, but we'll have to use what we have to start chipping away at their control. It should be enough to at least keep the symbol off of this land. So that means this territory is neutral now, and it's better than nothing. In fact, it's almost as if we're cutting them off from the sacred temple now. Oh, how the tables have turned, Leo. How surprised he'll be when he comes stumbling back home. Now, if we could catch just one frog before we head back, that would be excellent. There we go. All of these little froggies have been hopping away from Finch lately. You know, it's probably because of his fur. I didn't notice that. Since he has that black fur on now, it's probably much harder for him to blend in with the scenery. It's not as though there are many shadows out here on the wide open fields. So far, we've stolen valerian, we've stolen catnip, we've stolen lavender, plenty of licorice roots, and even one little frog. So I would call today a pretty successful day in that aspect. We're definitely chipping away at the mountain colony's resources, so maybe they'll be a little bit less likely to take us on in the future. Oh no, we've stolen so much that your pockets are actually full? Well, go ahead and munch on one of these valerian plants, I guess. Maybe that would be a good idea. That way he can move through the rest of this territory a bit faster, and hopefully find some more morsels too. Yeah, go ahead and eat some more of those licorice roots. Fill yourself right up. Oh, and the bunnies. We have caught quite a few bunnies today as well. I wonder if the mountain colony lives mostly off of rabbits. It seems like they're the most plentiful prey up here, so I wonder if a few offerings of rabbits would be enough to sway some of the cats to our side. Maybe we should consider leaving some rabbits out by their camp as just a little gift of some sort. They might not know it's from Finch yet, but once we're sure that we have their trust, that's when we can tell them. Oh my gosh, and look at this. All of the cats are gone from the enemy dens too. I didn't even realize. Oh my gosh, I wonder if we can sneak in, or if Jack is going to jump in from somewhere and stop us. Let's see. So far, so good. Okay, technically I think we should be able to come in here anyway since we do have a good reputation, but this makes our job a bit easier. Now we just have to try to remember which cat lived where, so we can offer up a couple of little gifts to them. I suppose maybe Arthur wouldn't mind a nice big fat rabbit sitting here for him to eat. It looks like he already has a couple waiting there for himself, but one extra couldn't hurt. Maybe we'll leave another rabbit by Jack's den? Does he live right here next to the rock? I mean, we probably want to get on the guard's good side too. Then he'd be more likely to let us in. I know that Luna lives here by all of those plants, so maybe we'll drop down one of these golden seals. That way she'll know that we've been around too. And I would say for Robin, we definitely need to offer her up a gift. She is the one that I would expect would be very likely to accept our wishes. So why don't we drop off some valerian for her? She has all of these beautiful flowers around her den anyways. We'll go ahead and just pop a couple extras right next to the entrance. I guess this is kind of a strange method of getting back at our enemies, like literally feeding their warriors and whatnot. But if we get them feeling friendlier toward us, maybe they'll be more likely to resist Leo's plans of attack. So I think Finch is going to be spending a little bit more time in the mountain colony pretty soon. But for now, let's get out of this drab old costume. Put your normal fur back on, Finch. No more disguises for you. And of course, we can't forget the one most important thing. We need your red scarf on as well. Penny would be very, very proud to know that you're still wearing this red scarf after all of these years. So in the next episode, it's going to be the very first day of summer, and I have some plans for Finch to try mastering his swimming skill. But now with this new revelation regarding the mountain colony, I guess it would be even more important than ever. Finch could use his swimming skills to slink undetected straight into the mountain colony through the rivers. And maybe that could be his way to truly interact with his new friends. No disguise needed as long as Leo doesn't notice. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, guys!